Weaver, aka Millennial Millie. As many of you guys may have known, I have been kind of MIA for the last couple months. Well, especially since January. Why have I been gone? Well, I've been working on probably one of my biggest, most important documentaries that I've ever done in my life. I mean, the information that is about to come out in my new documentary, PSYOP the Steal, is mind blowing, and in some ways it's going to anger a lot of people, and it's also going to be a wake-up call for a lot of Americans as to how serious the situation is in this country right now in regards to psyops being run on the American people. And the only way you can actually combat an effective PSYOP, or manipulation, deception, intelligence operation, is to expose it, to shed light on it. So, tonight, we're going to be premiering this documentary at 9 p.m. I'm very pleased to announce that we will be premiering it on my website, millennialmillie.com. But it's not quite 9 o'clock, so I'm hoping that one of the people that's featured in the documentary, Michael Yon, that he will actually be calling in here shortly so that I can interview him a little bit, just to find out, what his thoughts are, and kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea as to what you're going to be seeing in the documentary. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the, without spoiling it, needless to say, I'm going to go over some of the backstory and surrounding stories that took place during the filming of this documentary. So, during January 6th and January 5th even, in Washington, D.C., I was out there. I was actually, after the 6th, it's a crazy thing, I ended up helping some of, let's just say some of Trump's legal team with, in regards to collecting evidence and helping them kind of solve this mystery and solve this crime of who were these groups that decided to storm the Capitol? What was their agenda? Was this pre-planned? What can we learn from this situation? So I kind of went into it expecting one thing, only then to find just the most insane saga, I guess you could say. I mean, it's a drama, really and truly, when I found the evidence. And so what I will say is this. Although I did go to President Trump's speech at his Save America March, I was there in the VIP seating. I did not go towards the Capitol. I immediately left and I actually went back to my hotel room, just because I had been in the cold all day, all morning, and I couldn't handle much more of it. So I went back to my hotel just to kind of regroup, order some food, and then figured I would go right back out and cover what's happening out there and just do man on the street interviews like I would normally do. Only then to see within like an hour or two news reports that people were storming the Capitol. People were breaking through barricades and essentially destroying what President Trump and many of the investigators had been working hard towards since November 3rd and since Election Day, when we saw probably one of the craziest events in history where the numbers just didn't seem to add up in regards to the election. And, I got to be careful what I say here on YouTube because I know I am streaming right now on YouTube. But, all of this evidence was going to be presented. That's what Trump was announcing at the March for Trump on his speech on January 6th. He was announcing the news, the great news, that they were going to be sending these slates back to the legislatures so that they could then send them back, because those legislators were actually requesting them back. They wanted them back because they had sent them prior to actually seeing some of the election fraud evidence that they had seen later. And they wanted a chance to kind of redo that. And we were going to have an actual hearing where people were going to be presenting that evidence. But instead of that happening, we saw people storming the Capitol, which then gave all the political ammo needed for the left and the rhinos to flip the whole narrative around. Everyone stopped talking about the election fraud allegations, and they switched the script to talking about the storming of the Capitol and demonizing all of Trump supporters, demonizing Trump, and kicking off impeachment 2.0. Okay, so it looks like Michael Yon's calling, so let's talk to him briefly. All right, so we're here with Michael Yon. He's one of America's most experienced war correspondents. He was there with me, and I met him during our investigations, and he's just an amazing investigator, and he really provided a lot of valuable information in regards to agent provocateurs, because you travel around the world, Michael, right? And you investigate these agent provocateurs and Antifa cells. So tell people a little bit about that.
Right. I got kicked out of Hong Kong last year doing the same thing. I was in over 100 of the major protests in Hong Kong. I've done this around the world for many years, whether it's wars like Iraq or Afghanistan, or down in the Philippines, or up in Nepal, heavy conflict in Thailand. This is my day at the office, right? This is a normal thing for me. It's interesting when I started seeing people, think about false flags and agent provocateurs as if that is something exotic, which for me is just normal stuff. I mean, when I walk into a protest, especially one that could have been like the one at the Capitol where I was, and I'm automatically looking for cells. I'm automatically looking for APs, which is agent provocateurs. I'm always looking for clowns. Clowns is a different sort of information operations actor. And these things are not mutually exclusive. For instance, a lot of APs, the agent provocateurs, they're not always doing false flags, right? A lot of APs are doing it under their own flag. And then there's false flags that have nothing to do with AP, for instance. And some oftentimes the APs are very easy to spot because they got a megaphone. But that's not always true. Sometimes APs are out there starting fights or that sort of thing. So anyway, it's a day at the office for me. I grew up in Florida. So for me, when I walk into a protest, it's like going down to the river or the lake and going, that's an alligator, that's a turtle, that's a snowy egret. It's the same when I go into the protest. Here's a cell. Here's a, agent provocateur. And somebody here is doing a false flag. Actually, you can't always, if they've done a really great job with the false flag, it's very difficult to tell if it's a false flag or not.
Right. And you had one of your associates with you, a really nice lady from Japan, and I was just completely, blown away by the little video clips you guys were able to isolate and show that there were agent provocateurs at the Capitol and what appeared to be Antifa cells, and how you were able to just show, like, look, here they are, they've got multiple hats so that they can switch to different hats. Here they are switching and changing their clothes. Here they are with walkie-talkies and here they are using Hong Kong style tactics. And that was just amazing to see that you guys knew what to look for.
Right. That was Masako Ganaha, actually. She spots a lot of things that I don't see. I've been teaching her a lot about what to look for because I have a lot more experience in wars and conflicts. But then after I teach her, she spots them very quickly. It's like when you take somebody alligator hunting and I tell them what to look for and they spot them faster than I do, that's Masako. And so she spotted a lot of the things out there that I was missing. For instance, some of the cells I missed. And then you picked up some things too. You've got quite an eagle eye yourself.
Right.
And so One thing I've learned over the years is that when you're going through videos or you're down there on the ground, it is really valuable to have a woman with you. And I'm not just saying this to make you feel good. I'm saying it's a weapon system. It's like an AI system. Women just spot stuff that men miss. No matter how much experience I've got doing this, I just every time I'm sitting there with women looking at videos, they always see things I don't see. So that's something to keep in mind when you're going through these game tapes. Monday morning is on your team. You have to have women. I don't know why, but you guys just spot stuff we miss.
Right. Well, I don't know why. Maybe because we tend to be very detail oriented with putting on our makeup and just the fine details and everything, right? So.
Well, you spotted three hat guy. I mean, you picked
Right.
that out. I totally missed it until you. And then once you pointed it out, I'm like, yep. How did I miss that? But
Yeah.
you're the one that spotted that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you guys were the ones who pointed him out. Helmet Hole guy, you guys are going to see it in the film. It's just amazing to see how skilled these people are. And he was one of the people that actually helped push Ashley Babbitt up into the window, right? So he played a pretty big role in the entire event.
That's right. It was your team that spotted that. Actually, that I missed that actually until we kept rewinding it, and then that guy actually helped push her up. Yep.
Right. And so as far as your opinion goes, I mean, where do you stand? I know it's been a month since we've been, working together every day like we were, but what is your take now on the Capitol? I mean, I'm sure you've been researching a lot. I know mine has evolved. Where do you stand with it? Who are these groups, in your opinion?
Well, I think it was a mixture of groups. Actually, it was clearly like a coral reef of different groups there. There was clearly some that were, for instance, 3%ers. There were clearly some Antifa. There were clearly some BLM. But that sometimes when I go to events in various countries, things are very obvious. It'll be like just two teams, right?
Right.
Like in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, well, actually, I shouldn't say that in Hong Kong because there was often a mixture there as well. But but other times it's like going scuba diving on a coral reef, and you've got just so many different groups, and that's what we saw, at the Capitol. But clearly, this was orchestrated. That much is really obvious. I mean, we could see, for instance, that where was the security? I mean, 7 hours
Right.
before the attack, I put on Patreon that 90% chance of attack today, of some sort of violence. I didn't know where and when. I thought it might be over by Black Lives Matter Plaza, but it was at the Capitol. And I'm very good at predicting violence for some reason. I'm not good at predicting crowd sizes. I'm actually very bad at that for some reason. But on the violence, it was really obvious it was coming. The conditions were set. And so it was very surprising that the government did not have sufficient force there to, even fences for that matter, to stop
Exactly.
and
That's completely out of character, Michael. Usually at these type of events, they always have more gates, more barricades, more police presence, like at the RNCs, the DNCs, all these past political events. Even at the March for Trump that happened in December, they had more security, more barricades. And they just kind of left it all open, ripe for the taking, which is interesting.
And keep in mind, I have a ton of real combat experience, not just war, but actual, hundreds of firefights. I mean, literally hundreds. For the many years I was in the wars and many extremely violent protests that make what happened at the Capitol look like literally like a picnic. I mean, I know what could have happened there. I mean, it would have been easy for the Capitol Police to stop the people from getting into the Capitol. That was child's play to stop them from doing that, and that they did not. And I was there until after sunset. I didn't go inside because I had the sense that would put me on in prison possibly. But I was right outside. I didn't go any further than I thought would be illegal. I didn't want to break any laws. But the thing is even after the sun set, the people were still attacking the building, right? And like, that attack started at what, about noon, and so as the sunset was what, 6 or so, right, something like that. When it became really dark, you could look up the sunset. But I mean,
Right.
it was so it was at least 6 hours. And I know from my years in
Well, it
combat
seemed like as
that
soon
would
as
have taken
President Trump
30
told
minutes
everyone
to
to
clear
go
that.
home, people really rapidly cleared out. And then when they brought the National Guard in there, they cleared the building really quickly as well. So it as soon as it got dark, it seemed like it pretty much became a ghost town in Washington D.C. on the streets. And then it was such a ghost town. Then you had little tiny pockets of Trump supporters standing outside of their hotels that they were at, like outside smoking cigarettes and whatnot. Oh, it looks like we lost connection. Michael, are you there?
Yes, we got kicked off.
Okay. Well, okay, so like I was just saying that it seemed to kind of clear out and be a ghost town after President Trump told everyone to go home and they brought in the National Guard to clear the Capitol. And then after that, the police, the DC Metro Police, went into high gear and went around harassing Trump supporters that were staying at hotels outside of their hotels and going into like curfew Gestapo mode, which was pretty insane. Um, yeah. So as far as I remember, I mean, they really shut things down pretty soon after Trump told everyone go home. Which I feel so horrible for him. The whole situation just did not go the way I think he intended or planned for it to go. It's clear. It's clear that the president was set up, in my opinion, from the evidence that I've seen.
I'll go so far as to say, not in my opinion. It's quite obvious. I mean, it's like ultra obvious that was a setup.
Exactly.
I mean, it wasn't even. I mean, Trump obviously did not cause that to happen. They have all day to clear that out. And again, I spent years in combat, real firefights with lots of dead people all over the place. I know how long it would take to clear that out. 30 minutes, it would have been cleared easily. No problem. And yet they let it go on for at least 6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they let the people in the building. They just, as you know, in some of the areas, the police resisted. In some areas, in other areas, they welcomed them in. And we've seen that on so many videos. It's unbelievable. It was at the best, the absolute best you could say was epic mouth face-offs.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot more of an aggravated, angry crowd outside of the DNC in 2016 when they were mad that Bernie got, screwed over, let's just say that, by Hillary Clinton, and that, she stole it from him. And the people outside there were raging, shaking and tearing down fences and going insane, and they were able to hold them off. They had more security in place beforehand. So it just goes to show that this was just a big setup and a big psyop, that I might add. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you coming on. We're going to start streaming the premiere now, so I hope you tune in as well.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to watch it. Several of us are waiting, actually, and you are doing incredible work. I love the way that you take a lot of chances out there, so be safe.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Bye-bye. All right, so that was Michael Yon, and now we're going to get to the documentary. So the documentary is now live on my website, millennialmillie.com. You can go there and watch it right now. I am going to be streaming, and I'm going to be doing a watch party as well on my live streams. But here's the deal. Because of YouTube and their censorship, this video is very likely going to get me banned from YouTube because it's no holds barred. It's just all of it out there, raw and real. And so the odds are, if I play this, I will get another copyright, or not copyright, another community guidelines strike, which, is interesting because the last community guidelines strike I got was actually in January, right after President Trump was banned from Twitter, and all I did was just talk about that he was banned from Twitter. That was literally my video. It was a live stream, and they gave me a community guidelines strike. So I'm at 1 strike now, and I'm skating on pretty thin ice. They already removed my video, Revenge of the Kraken. So if you guys ever want to watch that, if you haven't seen it yet, you can always watch it on my website, millennialmillie.com. That's where all of my best content remains. Revenge of the Kraken is right there in case you want to watch it. But yeah, that was removed from YouTube. So if you haven't seen that yet, I highly recommend you see it. And if you're on Facebook watching, if you're on any of the other social media streams like Twitch, you can watch this on the Revenge of the Kraken movie. You can watch it on millennialmillie.com. I'm going to be continuing this live stream on Twitch because Twitch is not likely to censor me and ban me. And as far as I'm doing, thinking about YouTube right now strategically, I would like many of you guys on YouTube to follow me to my website, to subscribe to my website, subscribe to my newsletter, so that you guys can be kept in touch and in contact with me. The odds of me being on YouTube for much longer probably are not very high. I'm already skating on thin ice by doing this live stream on here, and I'm probably just going to have to keep using YouTube as a way to just point you guys in the direction where you can find my content. So you can go to my website, or you can go to my website and watch the video just as it is right now. But if you want to watch it with a group of people, if you want me to be chiming in, if you want my little takeaways and all that fun jazz, I suggest you guys go over to my Twitch account. I'm going to show you guys my Twitch account right now. Okay, so here you can see that I'm actually streaming. It's like a stream within a stream. Look at that. Okay, this is confusing. I know. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Whoa, what's happening? That's crazy. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It's like some infinitesimal thing going on right now. You can go to my Twitch account, and my Twitch account is Millennial Millie right here. So just type in Millennial Millie, twitch.tv/Millennial Millie, and this stream will be continuing on there. You guys could subscribe there, but even if you don't subscribe there, you can actually just watch it live for free, so you don't have to subscribe. But if you do subscribe, they have cool, fun things on Twitch, like they have emotes where you have little special emojis, and I feel pretty proud of the emotes that I have on there. I've got a rainbow snatch emote. I've got, just a swamp creature emotes, Shadowgate emotes. Fun stuff like that you guys can engage in. So, yeah, go to my Twitch account if you want to continue with the watch party. And if you want to just watch the video as it is without me, without my commentary, you can just go to millennialmillie.com and watch it there because I need all the support I can get from you guys as well. So if you want to go to my website, millennialmillie.com, and watch it there, please consider, making a purchase, getting some gear, because your purchases not only support my work and my journalism, they're pretty cool, and, it's something that you could actually rep out there, and it's a conversation starter when you have a Shadowgate beanie or a Shadowgate shirt, and you can share that with your friends and family. That's always a great way to kind of break into some of these subjects. And now is the most important time that we continue to talk about politics. We continue to push forward and inform people and red pill them, because the fight isn't over. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised. It's kind of tripping me out. I've had several friends and family members that were like diehard anti-Trump. And then after this whole thing happened with Trump, they have actually started to realize, wait, he was probably just a guy that was trying to do something, and that they just had it out for him. It's almost like people are starting to wake up to that. So I've had several, I don't know if you guys have had that as well. I guess you guys can comment if you've had that situation happen. But I've noticed I've actually had some people that didn't like him come around to the other side after the election, after, of course, it was too late. Um, so we can still change people's minds and hearts. So please go to millennialmillie.com, make a purchase. Your support means the world to me. It allows me to keep doing this journalism, this very important work. You can go there and watch the video there yourself, or just continue with me in this watch party on Twitch. So thank you so much, guys. Let's continue. Let's watch this movie. I'm gonna kill off these feeds here from YouTube and Facebook. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate all my subscribers on YouTube and Facebook. I really do. But unfortunately, because of the censorship issues, I have to be careful about what content I can or cannot put on there. So if you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, please jump over to my website or jump over to my Twitch, because that is where I'm going to be continuing with the best content that is uncensored, unfiltered. So, all right. Goodbye, guys. Please consider subscribing to my other platforms.